It's Wendy Anderson at the Workhouse Arts Center in Lorton, Virginia. While we're closed, I'm playing with resin, and I posted a little bit of it. But today I wanted to, me and my co-star, wanted to post a little bit of the experimenting that I'm doing. I haven't posted in a couple of days. So I thought I'd do the face-to-face first, and then I'll have to film the other because I also learned you can't switch cameras while the video's on. So I have to do the other sections separately. So, yay! Okay, so right now I'm working on like a little rolly table so that I can move it, because if you, let me pan over to my desk here. Come back over here. So my work desk has got, I got a ton of stuff on it right now. This is not typical of me. I usually have everything neat and tidy, but not so much now. Let me get the camera back. Learning how to use this selfie stick thing. Okay, so I have 2 love molds now, which is one more than I had before. I decided I was going to try to do like a multi-tone where I tilt it. So this is going to be kind of cool, although I might not be able. I was trying to fit 4 colors on this one, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. I might only be able to put the yellow on this and then do the backfill, but I'll try and get some blue on it too. But I have to do it this way so that when the colors overlap, then because it's transparent, then the colors will mix visually, but they're not actually mixed. So this is a regular purple alcohol ink, which I found it makes the resin have to cure a little bit longer. I was cleaning up my office upstairs at home, and I found a bunch of Wilton cake food dye that's actually a gel. So I added alcohol to it and mixed it up, and then I put it in the resin so I could have an actual red this time instead of more of a coral color like I had in the last love sign that I did. We'll see. I don't think chemically it's going to make much difference. I think because gel food coloring or food coloring in general has been mentioned to use in order to get transparencies in resin in some of the stuff that I've been watching. And I found with a green heart that I did that it didn't matter that it was gel, except that it tends to bead up, so you have to mix it a little better. So I mixed the color first with a little bit of resin, and then I put it in the resin itself, you know, to mix it better and not have little flecks of it instead. The flecks turned out to be kind of cool, but it's not what I wanted for this. I wanted it looks kind of like a jello. Okay, and then over here we have, let's see if I can get it to pan down. Whoops, wrong way. Pan down, 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 down. Okay, so here's what's left over of the red, and I've got some gold. It's kind of fake gold flakes in it, which would be really cool if it works out. That's for my mom. If it doesn't work out, then it'll be used in a different preparation. This is one that was gel left over from the new love one I'll talk about in a minute that just had a little bit of glitter in it. But I also save all these little drops. See, like the drop that's here, I'll peel it off, and there's another one there. I'll peel those off and I save them. So I had like it half poured and it was hard already, so then I put all the little dots in and I put some of the glitter stuff in, so we'll see how that turns out. This is one of my lucky pennies. I'm making a different one, and I had enough of the glitter resin to add to the back of that. This one was, I had taken some of the red resin and I swirled it around in the cup thing and let it harden before I poured more on it, just to see how that turns out, so it'll be a little speckled instead of worked throughout the thing. And this is my other love sign that I'm working on that had just the glitter and clear resin, but it's got hair ties in this. If this one turns out, it's for my hairdresser when things do finally open. I have it braced on both sides. One is with the other mold, and then a heavier book here. And the reason that I do that is because when these molds, when you pour them, the bottom's uneven. So this makes a really even bottom when I put it up against there. And of course, these are my mixing sticks. I save these and let them dry and use them again, because why not? I also found today, or yesterday, instead of, because torches are sometimes too strong to use on the smaller molds and stuff. I'm concerned about it wrecking them, even though they're silicone. So I found this is like a flexible shaft lighter that's been working really well today to get into little corners that I can't get into because I get burned. So anyway, that's let's see, let's get this thing to come up. Nope, wrong way. So that I can sit down. Up. There you go. So that's kind of what I'm into right now. It'll be a few days before I can post the result. What I might do is just mix this video all together in my computer, and then I'll just release it as one video, but we'll see how it turns out. Till then, see ya. Today, well, maybe should have waited, but I decided I was going to have to pour the blue and the yellow together and see where they kind of mixed, which I might get kind of a cool effect on there, because there was only going to be, when I flipped the mold over, there was only going to be a small strip in the front that I wouldn't have room for both colors. So, I don't know, we'll see how it turns out. That and the blue, because I use blue food coloring dye, is a little, the blue color is not clear, it's a little granular, like, I'm going to get close enough. So that's what happens when you use food coloring dye, even if you mixed it really well. Which is okay, it's a cool effect. Then I shined up a couple of my lucky pennies. They're legitimately lucky, I found them. That one went, this one went over the mold, but that's okay, I can deal with that later. And then I poured a second coat on this one with the hair ties in it. You can see a little bit closer. I'm still not sure how that's going to turn out, so we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, I got to walk away, or I'm going to play with it some more later. Okay, so it's day 2, and I get to unmold the little jewelry pieces that I did, or that I poured yesterday. So let's see how it went. Okay, so I've cleaned up some of this. I got all the little dots that I saved, some that wouldn't come off, some that would. The larger molds look okay. Make sure I get them in camera. I got to learn how to do that. This one has some kind of really cool marbling and stuff going on. But last night I noticed before I left that it was starting to, the blue was starting to settle to the bottom. So I don't know. I'm sure it'll turn out cool, but how cool, who knows. That needs a little fill in because I don't know if I can get it up close to the camera or not. It's not quite full yet. So this one with the little hair ties is adorable. It's a little over poured right here, so I'll have to fix that. And this side is not as full as I like it, so I've got to finish that off. So I can't unmold these two today. That'll be tomorrow, and I'll have another section of the video about that. These I can get out today, though. So I am going to start with, oh gosh, well, we'll just go with the blue ones because the blue ones, they're, I don't know, they're going to be interesting. Ooh, actually, they're very interesting. I don't know. I can't see it. Here we go. Hang on. Hang on. I got my flashlight. Here we go. So see the little, getting a little bit of shine in there. It does have the particulates, but, you know, that's how that's going to be with the stuff that I used. So these I'm just going to do quick because these are just all the same. I saved these pieces to include in other ones later. Although I do think that they make kind of cool buttons if I drilled them. But you'd have to have the right size buttonhole, I would think. Okay, so this is one that I was very ooh, wow, that one's pretty. Very curious about how that one was going to turn out. That turned out actually kind of neat. So this was the one of the two poured ones where I poured both the blue and the yellow together because I had that left over. Yeah, I don't know how well that's showing up on there. You have to bear with me. I had to get the hang of this filming stuff. Oh, that turned out quite nice. Here we go. The camera, yeah, they all look dark in the camera right now. I might just fast forward through the blue. Wow, that's really cool though. Fast forward the blue ones. I want to really clean this mold today, which is why I wanted so much to pour them yesterday. This had a little extra of the other stuff in it. Yeah, you can't really tell any difference in that. Okay, so here's one of the ones I was curious about. Let's see how this one turned out. Oh, wow, I'm surprised. Okay, so this one kind of looks like a little egg. It turned out speckled because I had done some of the resin and let it harden a little bit. I just swirled it around in the cup and let it harden in place. And so it came out with little dots. It was kind of cool. It also had, I did it with the resin that had the glitter in it. The glitter tends to sink to the bottom, such as it is. Okay, this is the half poured blue heart. So it's half yellow, half blue. Yeah, not terrible. Another one I was super curious about. Let's see if I can get it. Gotta come out that way, I guess. So this is the one I had the little leftover. It was a little over poured, I guess. Little leftover pieces. Here, let me get some white to put behind it. So I had the little leftover pieces and I put them in. So that was kind of cool. Thought having the white in it would make more sense, but it's hard to get pictures of clear stuff. This might not turn out for a good video. I might put it up anyway because it's practice. Gotta mix it and put it up and... Well, this one's kind of cool. Okay, so this one I did with the red food coloring. And it has little, it's fake gold flecks in it. Whoops, I dropped it. Fake gold flecks in it. And I like the way, even though it appears, the little flecks appear matte, until you move it, then they kind of get shiny, which is kind of neat. It's slightly over poured, so I'll have to trim that one. And these are the lucky pennies. So this penny, there we go. That one was actually, oh no, Lincoln's head has a bubble on it. This one was poured, and I was trying to, I added mold release to the penny because I wanted to, I was going for kind of a ghost penny look. And he got a little bubble on his head, but that's all right. I was going for a ghost penny look, and then it sunk into the stuff, so it didn't, or into the resin. So I was like, whatever. Now it's going to be a regular one. This one was I poured yesterday. Again, slightly over poured. This is why I need to clean the mold now. Oh, he turned out kind of pretty. He also has an odd little bubble. The first ones I did of him didn't have a bubble. Just, it's unfortunate. So that's the yellow. He didn't have mold release on him, so I don't know what happened there. So much for lucky. He's a little unlucky. And then this one came right out. He does not, let's shine him up a little. He does not have a bubble on his head, so he turned out kind of cool. He's got sparklies in the back. So yeah, that, all in all, not too bad. Now I can wash this mold and recondition it. This is this little blue one. This is kind of interesting. It has one little fleck of, I don't know if I can show it or not. One tiny little fleck of glitter in the, oh, there, shined a little bit in the center that you can't see unless it moves. That's really kind of cool. Okay. Fun accidents. So what I'm going to be doing with some of these, you know, if they turn out great, if they don't turn out, what I'm going to do with some of them is I'm going to start making sculptures. So they will still have some value if they don't turn out, which is kind of cool. So anyway, there you go. I'll be back when I can unmold these little guys. Okay, it's several days later, and I finally get to unmold these and see what they look like. So yes, we'll see what happens. Always nervous taking them out of these molds after the one mold that I had to cut it out of. Always nervous getting it out. It's a little sticky in a few places. I have, though, learned a few tricks to get things out of this particular mold type. Great, I ripped the mold again. I might not be making many of these. That's frustrating. Well, it does look kind of cool in places. Yeah, I think I know. I'll be down to one mold on these, but again, I think I know why this one did this. I molded this one in several different stages. It's possible that with mold release you need to do it just before you actually start pouring stuff, and this had sat for a couple of days before I added more to different parts of it, so I might have hit the camera there. It's unfortunate, but that might be what caused it to stick in a few places. Oh, this gives me an opportunity to look up a video on how to fix holes in your molds. Oops. Don't want to have this issue when I get to the dice. See, the other disappointing thing is it's a pretty tough mold. To be giving up like this is unfortunate. And it could just be a sign of my inexperience. But you know, that's why we do this, so we learn. Well, that's what it looks like so far. I would say as an experiment, this didn't turn out. I mean, it turned out good, but it's obviously been an issue. Might come back to this one. This was like the third use of this mold, I believe, with mold release, and it's still was still sticky, and now there's at least one hole in it. I'm not careful, I'll have more. So I'm gonna set that one aside for now. This was the first use on this one. This shouldn't have any trouble. I thought at one point that overfilling or doing the second filling on the mold might be what was causing it, because it was seeming to get hung up at the seams. But now I think maybe I just didn't use enough mold release. Very disappointing. But that's all right. With these molds, because there's so many little spots, I try to loosen it all as best I can before I peel it all off. This one's going to be so cute. There we go. You're a little bit of a rustle. Of it so far, it's so adorable. Let's see if I can get it all the way out. Keep pulling it closer to me, but okay, this had a second pour on it, and it's fine. Oh, whoops, upside down for you guys. And probably backwards. Ta-da! Or although you'll be looking at the back. Shows up backwards in the camera, that's weird. So that turned out very, very, very cute. I want to do one like this with sewing stuff for my mother. It was, like I said, over poured in a few areas that I'll have to, like right here, the L is a little double poured or over poured there. And a little trim up where the little pointy things are, a little over poured there. This is what the front will look like, even though it looks backwards in the camera. That's what the front looks like. It's adorable. I was hoping it would turn out cute, and it did turn out very, very cute. So this was the hair tie one. And once I get the other one out of the mold, it's mostly out of the mold. Just got to get the V out. Then I'll come back and show that one. Very cute. So, lesson I learned here. It's pretty stable too. Lesson I learned here, especially with these molds, is mold release that hasn't sat a couple of days. You need to be sure to use it just prior to pouring your mold. So having molds I'm going to pour more than once is not a good idea with these molds. Yeah, kind of sad. I could do double pours where I do like 2 colors like that all at once, but or I could just use a little mold release on my fingers maybe and put it in if it's sat for a couple of days and I haven't poured it. But yeah, that's kind of disappointing. I think one of the suggestions for this particular mold is to put it in the refrigerator for a few minutes to get more stubborn spots off. And even though it's already got the one hole in the O, I can avoid doing further damage to it, maybe if I can get it out without destroying the top or the bottom of the V right there. So I think I'll put it in the fridge. Although I did it with the last one before I destroyed the last one and it didn't work, so I don't know. It looks like it wants to come off. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, so I did manage to get it out. Let's see, show you in a way that it's towards you anyway. This is still the back, but I suppose it could always be the front. I did manage to get it out without destroying the mold too much. I think I know how I can do a little patch to it, but we'll have to see. Something I'm noticing in the ones that I have a lot of color in from the alcohol ink, they're even after several days to a week, they're a little more flexible than say the ones that don't have any in it at all, which that barely moves at all. I'm pretty sure that it has to do with the fact there's more, when you put alcohol ink in it or alcohol coloring in it, it's more liquid, so that maybe, I don't know, maybe I need a little more hardener, but this is a 1-to-1 ratio, so that would mess up my ratios. I might, with ones that I'm going to use a lot more color in, I might mount those so that because they're solid. They're not solid. They're just right here where it's, whoops, just drop it. Here with the V and E and the L and O, you know, the weaker spots in the piece, they're a little more flexible than I would like them to be, although I suppose that doesn't really matter. I can see evidence of mold release on here, so I don't know, maybe I just didn't get it in enough of the spots. But I did manage to do it with only minor destruction to the mold. There's a couple, let's see if I can show you. Like this is a rough area, so it didn't go all the way through, but it is a rough area. And that's a hole right there, right there. Since it's at the very top where actually most of the holes happen, I think I know what I can do to still be able to use this mold. This will be another good experiment, I guess. And these were, I should have known this mold was going to be a problem because these were little sticky things that were sticking to it and not coming off. So I guess I just have to be more careful when I use the mold release that I'm getting I even did it 3 times. I don't know what I have to do. But, you know, there's a lot of little cracks and crevices in these molds. So it's not like the other ones where they just and they're out. So it's unfortunate, but again, it's all a learning thing. I was kind of looking forward to having 2 molds that I could circulate between. And I still can if I can figure out how to use this one anyway. But at least I didn't have to cut it out like I did the other one. That was, it was rough. I might just be able to put some tape over that. It's on the inside part of the O. Maybe it's on the outside part of the O. I could just sand down a little. It would have a little edge on it if I did that, but I could probably just sand that down. Because I'm learning about that too. But anyway, that was the outcome of this one, and it's, like I said, it's unfortunate, but you know, this is how you learn, I guess. I don't know why they keep doing that. And if I do the next mold really, really well with the mold release, the new one, this is the new one here. If I mold release the crap out of this and it's still, after 3 or 4 times using it, starts giving me fits, then I'm not gonna like that. That would make me sad, because I really like this mold, and I can think of all kinds of things I could do with it. Like on maybe the ones that are a little rough, when I'm doing sculptures and stuff, I've thought more than once about pairing them together. I suppose it doesn't matter if they're rough. It matters to me. But see, they're the same mold, so you can pair them together and like have kind of fun with that. You can mount them, I don't know, make a little box out of them. I've thought a couple of different ways that I could use the ones that are a little rougher. Although I have to say, the previous one that I had to cut the mold out of, or cut out of the mold, I mean, turned out really good after I cleaned it up. This one just has a few little spots that I have to clean up with the WD-40, but now you can tell that anything's wrong with it after I did that with the WD-40. So, and then I cleaned it with alcohol afterwards. I will say about the coloring, so this was the one that I had used the old Wilton food coloring in. So the red, so I put it up closer. I guess it's going to make it, can't really zoom in when I'm doing this. It does kind of look like Jell-O. It's kind of cool. But it is very, it has a lot of bubbles, which I'm finding with the ink, it does that too. And the blue, let's see if I'm getting that where you guys can see it, sort of. It also has that granular look to it, which was, it's okay. I was kind of going for more of a uniform effect. And then the purple was just regular alcohol ink, which turns out to be kind of clear. Let's see if I can, excuse me, froggy in my throat. Shine some light up in here, yeah. So this is more clear. And this is where it gets super small bubbles. Like I said, it's all, you know, just because it's not what you planned in your design doesn't mean it can't work. So I still really like them, and they're still turning out really cool. So till next time.